All right, everyone. How's it everyone doing today? This is Dr. Yam. How are you guys going? It's a Friday. Anyway, as I shared a little earlier, I'm going to give you a little talk to today. So it is Freebie Friday at the same time. So let me get my little introductions in order so I make sure I do things in the proper order, I should say. So for instance, my screen just popped again. I've been having some techies here. Okay. So it is Freebie Friday, and I'm going to share with you a little insight as well. Oh my gosh, this is like having a crazy day right here. Here we go. So if you haven't already done so, I want you to put your comments up in the bottom inside of the feed. We'll get started with that. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you haven't already done so, the Content Creation Tips and More group. Oh, I don't know why this is doing it. There we go. There we go. Sorry, guys. So if you haven't already joined us over at Content Tips and More Facebook group, this is the space for you who are new solopreneurs, freelancers, and coaches who want to use content creation tips and strategies so that you can grow your business using authentic strategies for that matter. So that's how we're going to work on that. And of course, you can head on over to smallbizsociety.com is where you can sign up for those of you who are watching this in a feed for later. And it's me, Dr. Yam, your Keep It Simple coach, and you can visit me over on my website. I'm over at keepitsimplecoach.info as well. So as part of my pop-up for this Friday, I wanted to give you a little I'm calling it a confession, and here's why. You know, I think we all have little behaviors, I'll call them, that from time to time, can maybe get a little out of control. I don't know. That's how I see it sometimes. And so I have a confession. I am a font hoarder. Yeah, I like fonts. FONTS, fonts. And I can get very, very carried away with fonts. In fact, I get them and buy them a lot, or I see free ones and I'll want to have more. And so I've been on this kind of kick lately, and I think I got to come clean. So that's my confession. My confession is that I'm a font hoarder. And I want to share with you my journey and why I do what I do in being a font hoarder. So I see font hoarding as kind of fun, actually. Some people go to flea markets, other people go to yard sales, and I like to collect fonts. They're very compact, they're digital, they don't cost very much. And then on the top of that, they're really, really useful. So I thought today I was just going to give, because it is also in where's my little brandings? Where we go? Come on, baby. Should be freedom. It is Freebie Friday. So of course I'm going to attach a freebie to our time together today. So let me pop that up there. There you go. So it is Freebie Friday. So as a part of my confession, how typically when you're like an addict, you don't want other people to do what you do. But in this particular case, I do want you to do what I do. I do want you to get really excited when you see a font that's like, oh my God, that's like so cool. I want to use that font. Or, oh, there's such a cool graphic. I want to use that graphic. So in this case, it's kind of like an addict and like a non-addict, or like just come along for the journey and be a hoarder like I am. So that's my true confession for today is I am a font hoarder. And I want to show you what exactly that looks like. Now, many of you know when you open up a Word document or PowerPoint or a Google Doc, you will typically have to use text. And then in many instances, you do have that opportunity to choose your text styles. Those are the fonts, FONTS. In fact, let me do this. There you go. I've made my confession, and I put it out there to the world. I'm coming clean, as they like to call it. Anyway, I just thought it was such a fun idea today because I caught myself making another purchase for a font. And I'm like, I think I have a problem. Do I really have a problem, or do I just enjoy collecting fonts? And so maybe it's not so much hoarding anymore, is it? I've become a collector of fonts. Like, some people collect artwork, some people collect jewelry, some people collect figurines and everything. And I've decided, you know what? This is going to be my collection. I'm going to collect fonts. So there you go. That's my confession for today. So, what I wanted to do is, oh, sorry, somebody's trying to come into the group here. Hold on. There we go. I hope I got you in. All right. So what I thought I'd do today is kind of share with you my journey of how I collect fonts and how you can use font styles and just kind of be fun. It's Freebie Friday at the same time, so I'm gonna give you some freebies that kind of go along with it. But you may not even know that you have this ability to expand the font styles and the font items that you currently have when you get certain software that are automatically kind of come with it. There's typically a collection, right? When you go into Word or you go into Google Docs and you click on the font styles, you'll see a list of fonts, and they're pretty blah. If I actually have to tell you the truth, they're very boring fonts. They really, really are. And so there's an opportunity for you to go beyond those fonts. Now, there are some different types of fonts and files formats and things like that. I won't get into all of those details, but you know how, and I know it's not, I want to make sure I do this in a correct way. Just like any addict, there's a source, right? And so with that, I have a source I use typically. There's a couple out there actually. So I'm just going to share one today just to kind of keep it simple. But I want to share with you a source and also an opportunity that how you can expand your creativity when it comes to you creating the social post that I talked about the other day, or any of your other graphic designs, that you can take it to another level and being able to choose and add different font styles to your library of text. So let's get to it real quick. So like I said, there are different opportunities. So what I thought I'd do is let me bring up, I think I'll just bring it up in Canva. So let's do this. So in Canva, let me make sure I change my screen over to another screen. So in Canva, what you're able to do, make sure I have, nope, not that one. No, there we go. In Canva, in the pro version. So yes, this is the pro version. You don't get this when you're inside of the free version. So I'm going to make that disclaimer. And most of the other platforms that I showed you the other day, if you haven't already watched some of the series on social media posts, then inside of the smallbusinesssociety.com, when you visit inside there and you join the content creation tips and more group, you will find my series on social media balance and how you can design font social media posts, and also the different types of social media posts that you want to have so that you can have your zen, your yin and your yang, and that you can have social media balance in your business. So inside of Canva, there is a component there called Brand Kit. So what happens is in the pro version of Canva, you're able to store all of your branding items that you have, rather than just having to add things and uploading them and not being able to organize them. Because the point about branding, which is important, is consistency. So just as a quick aside, so here you'll find your brand logos, which you can upload and have at your disposal. Here's where you have your color palette. So when, for those of you who've already been through my Know, Like, and Trust personal branding and launching your sidekick course, we talk about creating your brand boards or your project brand boards. And so you have your colors. And again, Consistency matters in branding, personal branding, as well as your business branding. But one of the other things that you get to add is you also can have your brand fonts. Now, what typically happens is that when you go inside of any design, I'm going to bring up the collection that we did, one of ours from here. Okay. Whenever you're opening up Canva or any of the other graphic tools, you typically will have a set of text that's object, and then you also have an ability here to change the font style, right? So when you click on the font styles, you will get all of the default fonts that come in the basic version, the free version of Canva, right? And then if you have your own, you also can add fonts to Canva, but you can only do it in the pro version. And that's typically with most of the other ones. You can only add to the pro versions or the advanced versions, paid for versions. Can you then upload it, add your own fonts to it? Because typically, like when you have somebody who does your graphic design, maybe for your logo, and you want to be able to have that stylization, you want it to be as unique as possible. And you want to be able to have that and use it in other ways and have that branding consistent as well. And that font may not be in the library as you see it here in your list of fonts. So you'll need to add a font to your library. Did you know that? Did you know you can have control and add more fonts? This is where it starts to get out of control for me, is I continue to keep buying cute fonts. Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, so what ends up happening is rather than you being stuck with the generic fonts that you have, you can add more. So here under the side, you also have your click more button over here. I'm going to come right here close. And where's your brand board here? Oh, sorry. When you're doing your fonts, you'll see here that you have your header, your basic layouts here. This is because in my case, it's going to default to the fonts that you have set up in your brand board as your primary font and your secondary font. They'll automatically be here for you inside of the settings here. Did you know that? So that's the other benefit about having the pro version of Canva and not going with the basic version. Okay. Now, that being said, so I'll just stick with this one. So if I click on here and I go up to the change the font, you'll always have the default fonts that will show up here under brand font. So anything that you set up in your brand kit is what's going to show up for you here. So it's easily accessible to you, and you have an ability to just click it and move on. So again, consistent, and you have everything at your disposals right here. So your brand font is what you're able to do in the brand kit, like I just showed you. You identify your primary font styles that you'll use for your being consistent in all of the different creations that you're doing. Okay. Now, sometimes your branding may be for a project and not for the business itself. So you may have multiples, and that's okay and fine. But typically 2 to 3 font styles is what's usual. You don't want to have that much conflicting between styles. It's too much on the eyes, just from a graphic design standpoint. But anyway, so these happen to be my 2, right, that I have. But also notice it says uploaded fonts. So here's where you're able to upload and add to your library of fonts. Now, how do you do this? Well, there's a couple different ways. There's some platforms out there that you can get some free fonts, meaning that you have licensure to use it, like you buy photographs, right? You have royalty-free photographs. You have a similar nature when it comes to even the fonts that you have. So you'll notice here under the uploaded fonts, I have a ton that I've added. And these aren't even all of them, honestly. I know, don't judge. But I say all this to say is that you don't have to be stuck with what you get by default. You have an ability to add more. So I want to share with you a particular resource that I happen to use a lot of. And I want you to have the same joy that I have when it comes to being a hoarder of fonts. So let me show you my little jewel of the day. Stop sharing this real quick. and bring you on over to, I'm going to share my screen again. So here's the website that you can go to, and I'm actually going to pull this up into the group so you guys can have a quick copy as well. And hold on. I'll put it right underneath the video. I think I got to refresh the screen real quick. And there we go. There we go. And I'm gonna pop it right here. So it's okay. So now you have a link inside of the group. So go there and you can pop it, click it, and you'll be able to get access to it as well. Alrighty. So do that. And now I'm going to share with you my little jewel of the day, my little freebie of the day. So let me bring up my screen and share that as well. Hold on. Come on, baby. Alrighty. Let me take off my label. Oh no, that's it. There you go. Alrighty. So this is the tool, or really it's like a storefront. It's a marketplace for graphics and fonts and other crafting creators that source that you can go. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what this is and how you could take advantage of it like I do and join the font hoarding community, as I like to call it. All right, so let me get on over here to the screen. So the name of the community, or the name of this source, is called Creative Fabrica. And here you can get fonts, you can get other crafting resources, you can get graphics, and there's always a freebie of the day, which, hey, everybody likes a good freebie. And there's also they're always having good deals at the same time. So this is where I hang out. And I also have one more, and I'll share that one with you as well, because, no one likes to be alone in the hoarding community. And we like to have company. So this happens to be one of them. So let me just give you a quick rundown of how this actually works. So after you click the link that you see here on the page, it's going to take you inside of the Facebook group as well. It's going to take you to this page. You set up a quick account. It doesn't cost anything to have an account. All right. Now, they do have a subscription model. So let me just share with you what that looks like. So what that means is, they actually having so they even having a promo today. So it's Freebie Friday, and they're having a promo. So I got to let you know about the promo. So it's an Easter promo during this particular video. So anyway, what they're giving you access to is that if you sign up for $1 for the first month, then your renewal is only $19 a month. Now, I think typically it's like $29 a month. It's usually what it is. I think that's what I had mine at one point. But so if you want to grab it and get a subscription, you certainly can. You do not have to have a subscription. They just always offer it to you. So I do want to make you aware of that. So if you want to take advantage of it for a couple of months and get the freebie month, hey, I don't see why not. So you can click on the grab the deal. So it's going on for a couple more hours. We'll see how that works. This is a special. I'm going to hit the no thanks for right now. Yeah, because typically, like I thought, there's a different models that you can do here. 12 months, 3 months for $12. You can do, again, kind of a get started piece. And then you have something that's more popular. So they have the different versions. If you just want to subscribe to fonts like me, you can do that. If you just want to do the graphics, you can do that. Or you can have all access. I mean, you get everything and go on overload. And you may choose to do that. Anyway, so that's kind of the offer that they have from, I just want to make sure, so you have a subscription, but again, you don't have to. So what happens is I'm gonna hit over here to the homepage. There'll always be little dealios, which is one of the things I really like about Creative Fabrica, is that there's always cute deals, but there's also the cute stuff. So I like cute stuff. So like I noticed, fonts, graphics, images, even things for embroiderers or other crafters. So there's lots of different tools that are out here. What it allows you to do is, again, kind of break from the fray and have access to some maybe uniquer things. So I'm just going to talk about fonts today. So here are like bundles of fonts. Like, see, 600 fonts, 400 to 250 fonts. a collection of fonts. Okay. Now, you don't, some of them, you can use, some of them are created so that you can just bring them right into Canva. Some of them you might have to use inside of Photoshop. So always kind of look at what you have available to you. So I'm just going to go into this particular one as sometimes like they're having these bundle deals, because typically this is like a 250, like a lot of fonts that you could download and add to your repertoire at any given time for $9. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a darn good deal. To get 250 styles of fonts, that's a lot. Okay, you may not have to, once you do this, you don't have to do nothing else. But again, they're having a promotion, so they typically do. So I want you to be aware of that. But what you're able to do when you're buying fonts, here's the deal. They're files. They're like little baby apps almost, right? So think of fonts like apps. And so you're going to download one particular file, and then you're going to upload it up into your library. So let me give you a quick overview of what that actually looks like. I think that would probably be the most helpful. So let's do this. I'm going to go where I have already made a purchase. So I'm going to go here. See where it says my downloads? Okay. So I've made some purchases, right? Okay. Again, part of my confession. So I might have bought this font right here called Sweet Pineapple. Okay. I bought this font called Sweet Pineapple. And again, it's all about the stylizing, right? So what you do is it's always going to come in the form of a zip file. Okay. It's a font. Some of them may just be graphic layouts that you buy, but I typically buy fonts. So here it's an item that you're going to do a download for. So I would click the download. It's going to save it as a zipped file on your computer, and then you're able to just hit save. Okay. And then you're going to want to extract that file. So I'm going to go back in here real quick, open it in the folder so you can see it. And then I'm going to just double click it. It's going to open up in the Extract app that I have already built on my computer. I happen to be working on a Windows device today. I'm not on my Apple like I normally am because I'm in the process of moving stuff over. Anyway, so you extract the file. So from, oh no, sorry, not in the zip. No, in the zip you do. So I'm thinking about another technology I'm thinking about. Okay, so extract it. It's going to extract it, put it in its own folder, right? So now you'll see it's inside of my downloads, and then it's in a folder called Sweet Pineapple, and this is the code number. Now inside, you're going to notice you see 2 different file formats. This is the important piece, people. Okay. Now, there are open type fonts, or what we call OTFs. And then there are true type fonts, or TTF files. In many instances, when we think of Canva, you're always going to upload an OTF file format. The TT fonts are for files that you can kind of use like inside of Word. They typically recognize the true type fonts in file fonts extensions. Okay, that's why you'll always see 2 file font types inside of a purchase when you buy. It's just because of depending on the platform or the application. Some read one file format, some read another. Make sense? Okay. So this is the file I'm going to want to upload into Canva. So now that I have it there, oh, wait a minute. I just realized my screen popped. Hold on. I apologize. It just did everything after it went out. I forget my screen share. It's not like it should be. I apologize, guys. Give me 1 second. Let me do a full screenshot. Maybe I have to do it that way. Sorry. Sometimes. Let's see if it'll let me do it. Okay, I apologize, guys. Let me bring you back over to Creative Station. Okay, so as you can tell, I'm over here inside of the Canva tool. Let me see if it's going to let me do it. Yeah, okay. I'm just showing for my delay. I apologize. I keep forgetting this app doesn't let me jump between windows. So you identify a font. In this case, I have my Sweet Apple. I downloaded, and then it's going to open up into a file folder. And then you're going to open it up and extract it. So I'll hit my save button. and hit save. The new did it one time already, so that's why it's driving me crazy. Okay. And now open it up in the folder. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. Now that I've downloaded it, here's the file. It's going to be a zipped file, right? And so you're going to go ahead and double click it and open it. And then you're going to extract it using whatever app you have built into your computers. Most of them are already there. And you want to simply save it there and extract it. And now you have the two file folders types inside of there. Like I was mentioning earlier, and I apologize. The file is going to come in two file formats. It's going to come in an OTF, or what we call open type font format, or it's going to come in a true type font format, or TTF file format. And depending on where it's going to reside, some platforms recognize TTF and others recognize OTF file. So make sure you choose the right one when it comes to uploading it. But most often when you're purchasing fonts, you're going to get the both file formats because that's the right thing to do, because they don't know which one you want to use it, but they recognize the fact that there is a need to have one or the other. And in some instances, there may not have been designed for both. So just always be mindful. If you know you're going to be using it in Canva, then it has to be an OTF. It doesn't recognize TTF files. Whereas on Microsoft side, they recognize TTF files and not OTF files, at least to the best of my knowledge. Correct me if I'm wrong, people. Always know that. You can always correct me if I'm wrong. Now that you have opened it up, here's what you're going to do next. I'm going to close back out of here, and I'm going to go into my Canva, right? And so we're in here. I'm going to go back to my homepage at Canva. So you can go back to your brand kit, because this is where you will need to do your file uploads, is inside of your brand kit. So you'll go here to your brand kit and you'll scroll down and you see here your brand font. This is where I was saying you set up your brand fonts to your 3 primary font styles that you use for your branding. But up here, this is the list of all the other fonts that I use for just other creations and things that I have going on for design purposes. And so down at the very bottom, of course, I have a whole bunch and I have to do a lot of scrolling. But anyway, you want to upload your font file. So you simply click here to upload a font. You go and find your font. Here's the sweet pineapple. It's in a folder. So I'm going to open up the folder. And I'm going to make sure that I select, let me just do it right here, the OTF file. And here's the thing too, when you're opening up and you get your file, if you want to show your, oh, come on, baby, there we go. It will show you all of the library of that font. So each font, each OTF file is like a library. Remember, each character is in and of itself is kind of like a file, a mini file inside. So this is what it looks like in what file size it comes in. It also tells you this is what it's going to look like in both character and in numerical. And if they have any special characters, they're all stylized to meet that particular font styles in and of itself. So this is what it looks like at 12 font, and this is how it can, and it'll even tell you, let me see if this will show me. It goes up to size 72 point font. Okay. So you can see how it's structured and how large of a font, if you want to, or how tiny you can go with the font. So this gives you a visual representation of all the characters that you're going to be uploading from this library. Does that make sense? I hope so. So we're going to go ahead and select this one file and select open. And then this is the very important part, is it's always going to ask you, are you the owner of this font? Like, you didn't just scab this from somebody, did you? So sweet pineapple, I own it because I bought it. So if I bought it, it's mine. Okay? If somebody shared a font with you, more than likely, unless they have commercial rights and they can sell it or share it, it doesn't belong to you. Don't upload it. They're acting on good faith that you have the rights for the intended purposes of using it. So Yes, upload away. And you get to upload your file. And then voila, the pineapple will appear in your list as it is right here. Sweet pineapple, regular. Now, that brings me to a point. Sometimes, depending on the stylization, the person who created the font, you will often enough may have versions. Okay. Remember that you may have even noticed when you go to style a font, meaning you might want to have it underlined or bold. Sometimes you cannot bold a certain style font. It's for a reason. They didn't make it to be bold. This is it. You don't get to change it. It's just what it is. Other times you will have regular, you'll have the bold, or you may have the light version or the dark version, or here's an alternative reg. Again, they put these things inside of the library just because of the nuances of how different platforms work. So they have that kind of flexibility. So you just know that that's what may happen. So you may find that in your list, you might come across like 3 different names of the file, but they're for 3 different versions of it, if that makes sense to you. Hopefully it does. Like you'll notice here, these are 4 versions. This is the same file family, but they gave me 3 versions of it for different reasons. Or in this case, a lot of the embellishments that are part of the font design are there. Anyway, that's as simple as it gets. So now that sweet pineapple is already uploaded, then guess what? I'm going to go back to my design. And let's go back to our library we were in. And now, if I click on my font that I want to change, and maybe I only want the first letter to be changed as a font. So I'm going to go over here. And I'm going to look for, now I can type in sweet pineapple, because now it'll be here. Voila. And now sweet pineapple has made its grand appearance inside of my Canva account. So this is how it will look. So it's just that simple. So now it becomes a matter of, well, is the font that you really want here? Or is it something that you really want to purchase? And if you want to make a purchase, then you certainly want to hang out over here inside of Creative Fabrica. And like I said, you can look for fonts for days. They even have different types. So if you look under the font format, for instance, oh, I'm sorry, I did not want to do that itself. If you look under the menu for fonts, you're going to find there's scripted and there's handwritten. So different even styles. You even can look for, if you want to be really clean, look for just sans serif type of file. That's a styling in and of itself, part of a family. There's also just different dingbats, means all those little icons and things. You may want those. They even have colorized fonts as well. So that's even something cool to check out. But again, you can find really cool fonts. In some cases, like today, $1. This is why I'm a hoarder, because I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so cute. I need this font, and I'm going to pick it up. Like, see that dots font? I didn't see that before until today. Guess what? I'm going to buy that font, because I'm like, I'm going to use that font one day. I don't know when, but I know I'm going to use that font. So I'm going to buy it. So this is where being a font hoarder can be a problem, but maybe not a bad problem, maybe a problem in a good way. This is, again, an opportunity for you to explore your creativity. And if you haven't already done so, let me turn this off. Let me turn off my thing here. There. All right. So there you have it, my people. That's my confession. I am a font hoarder, and I am proud of it. Anyway, I hope you had some fun with this. That's what it was all intended to be. Fun. It's Freebie Friday, and I want you to have fun. I want you to grab you some free fonts. It's when you create your account, you get a free font, and then sometimes they even tell you, hey, there's some free fonts today, and you can just say, ooh, and grab it. Okay. And then there's some that are on sale. like the dots one I'm going to be doing as soon as we get off this live stream. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to kind of hang out with me as a pop-up Freebie Friday. And again, if you haven't already done so, if you don't have a Canva account, this is where you can go. And if you haven't already done so, you can hang out with me and other solopreneurs, freelancers, and coaches who are learning and applying content creation tips and more with me, your coach, Dr. Yam. And if nothing else, visit us over and join us at the Small Biz Societies where it'll take you right there, smallbizsociety.com. Join us, and then you'll be able to learn and get all the freebies that I have for you inside of the community. And also visit me over on my website. keepitsimplecoach.info is where you can find me, services, events, and some freebies as well. And my blog. Never forget about the blogging. And that is all I got for you guys. So I want to say, let's get busy. Have a good one. Bye-bye.